What is up, everybody? What is going on? Let me take a moment before we get into today's video to welcome you to my channel, especially if you're new here. I appreciate you being here. My name is Control for Days. I am a black-green Yawgmoth aficionado, and today we are going to be running through a league with a brand new list that is building off of some of the things that we did over the past couple of weeks. But before I get into that, I'd like to take a moment to ask you, if you have not done so already, please hit that subscribe button, smash it, crank it, whatever you got to do down below, hit that subscribe button. That's the thing that matters the most when it comes to the YouTube algorithm, so it would really be a big help if you did that. Today's list, we are building off of the 22 land list that we played last week. The reason why we are running 22 lands in our deck list from last week is because the presence of red removal within the format is very omnipresent, and Birds of Paradise, the value of the card decreases because it gets bolted every time turn one, or in a majority of matchups. So what we did is we shaved a Birds of Paradise and we went up to a 22nd land. Today's list, we're building off of a similar concept, but doing it in a different way. We're back down to 21 land, and instead of running the third Birds of Paradise, I have instead opted to run a second Prosperous Innkeeper. It's a little bit of a pet card of mine. I am a big fan of Prosperous Innkeeper, and the reason we're choosing this avenue as opposed to an extra land is because it gives us an extra creature to put on the board. It produces a treasure token which can't be bolted or removed easily, and the synergy with our combo that is actually pretty valuable. So we're going a 2-bird, 4 ignoble, 2 innkeeper, 4 wall split today, back down to 21 lands. The sideboard of today's list, I'm running 3 removal spells. Last week Zane gave us a donation deck list. He had 2 Go for the Throat in his sideboard, and I actually kind of like that. So until Pylon comes into the format, which I was hoping to test this week, but apparently it's not on Magic Online until next week, I'm going to run a second Go for the Throat and see how it feels again today. Outside of that, all the usual suspects are running a Shieldred, Haywire Might, Filigree Silex for Rhinos and Creativity, Ooze, all the other cards you've known me to play. So nothing too special. We're going to jump into this league. Come and join me. Let's get after it. Alright, everybody, we are jumping in match 1 of our Modern League, playing against Rastin. Definitely played against this person before. We are going to be on the play, double Prosperous Innkeeper, version 10.1. Let's go. Alright, in true Control for Days fashion, we're starting off with a mulligan. If we had an extra land, this hand would be great, but we don't, so we're shipping it back. And our 6 card hand, also fairly suspect. We do need a second land with this hand. Our opponent kept a 7. I think we have to go down to 5 here. This is not a good start to the league here. I mean, so we can keep this and hope that our opponent doesn't have removal for our Dryad Arbor. I guess that's what we're going to do. I just don't want to go down to 4. And we'll ship back Endurance and Blood Artist. Alright, wish me luck. I probably should ship that back, but I just really don't want to go down to a 4-card hand. I don't think the chances of us winning are very high if we go down to 4. So, need to get a little lucky here. We'll see. Opponent leads on Swamp and a Thirst. Okay. So, to me, this suggests we're playing against mono black Coffers. See if we can draw land. We do not. Twilight Mirror, we'll pass the turn. Wall of Roots actually not a bad draw, though. So, if we do pull a land off the top, we can go Wall of Roots into Yawgmoth next turn. And plays really nicely with our Court of Calling too. So we do have a shot here. Land. Alright, no land. We'll pass the turn. Opponent plays Field of Ruin. Wow. Wow, that is very surprising. Okay. That is, I think, a mistake on our opponent's part, but hey, whatever works for you. Not sure why they did that one. Land? Alright, we got our land. Unfortunately, it's one we'd kind of want, but We'll go with it. Yeah, so they kind of opened up the floodgates for us, and they Fatal Push our Yawgmoth. The only way that this makes sense to me is if they have something like a Damnation in hand. I don't understand why they would do that otherwise. Yeah, okay, sure. Opponent has 5 cards in hand. Okay, we draw into an Endurance. We're going to play down our Geist, and we're going to start attacking. Yeah, very strange sequence from our opponent here. I guess the reason why they used the Field of Ruin is they wanted the extra swamp, but I feel like that just benefits me more than it hurts me. Night's Whisper, sure. They have 2 cards left, or 2 mana left. Okay, Relic of Progenitus, so that pretty much invalidates our Undying creatures from this point forward. They pop one of them. Okay, so I can do something about this, but I'm not going to. I could evoke the Endurance, but I don't think that that's worth it. So we'll just exile it. Opponent has 4 cards in hand. Okay, draw another land. I'm going to shock this out. It does kind of telegraph that we either have a Chord of Calling or an Endurance, but that's fine. I'm going to place out a Field of Ruin. Sure. Add a mana. Are we going to get a basic Swamp here? Maybe? Maybe I just get another Forest. I think I just get another Forest. They play Urborg in their deck, so I think there's a good chance. Yeah, I'm going to let them exile this. I don't really care about that. 5 mana from our opponent. Karn the Great Creator. So if they don't have a removal spell in hand, we will be able to get rid of this. They reveal a Pithing Needle. Sure. And they cast a Pithing Needle. Sure. And we will be able to get rid of this Karn now. Okay, another Chord of Calling, not really what we're looking for. I'm going to move to combat, and I'll swing down the Karn. We'll play out our Yawgmoth, and then I will pass the turn. Our opponent casts Invoke Despair. Okay. We will sacrifice a creature. They pop their Relic. I don't know if I would consider that the right move unless they have another Relic. Fatal Push, sure. Not really doing anything over there though. Like, you're killing our creatures, but I don't think we have a Dryad Arbor in the deck, so we can't fetch for that. So we're kind of just stuck here until otherwise. 7 mana. If this is like an Archon, okay, sure. Menace, Lifelink. Okay, yeah, I think this game's probably just about over. Verdant Catacombs. That gets us a 1-drop. This thing has Menace though. And if we fetch, we're just dead. I'm gonna scoop it. Yeah, I'm gonna scoop. We'll go to game 2. Okay, game 2, what do I want to do? We're gonna bring in Force of Vigors. We're gonna bring in Haywire Might. And possibly some number of Thought Seizes. Maybe even Shieldred. Shieldred seems medium. I don't think we need Shieldred. Yeah, I think we'll go with this. We'll go with these 6, I think. Thought Seize seems pretty bad. They have so much card advantage. It doesn't seem ideal. I think we'll shave an Evo, a Chord of Calling, an Endurance. Yawgmoth seems very non-impactful. Hapatra doesn't seem great either. I think I'll probably get rid of Hapatra and keep in 3rd Evo. Yeah, I think we'll go like that. Maybe I think I shave an Evo and I'll bring in an extra Chord. Maybe I bring in Shieldred. I just feel like I have a lot of bad cards. 3 Evo, -1 Chord. Okay, we'll go like this. Our curve's a little high, but as long as we don't have to mulligan down to like a 4-card hand, I think we'll be okay. Alright, this hand's medium, but I think we're gonna... I don't want to mulligan. Do we just like beat them down this game? Tempted to keep this. Can we do better on 6? I'm just kind of like remembering what happened last game and hesitant to mulligan because of how that panned out. I think we're going to keep this. We'll give this a try. Opponent keeps their 7. This is generally a very favored matchup. It's going to die, sure. I'm fine with that trade. Okay, we drew another land. Definitely not what we want. I'm going to start by fetching out a basic here just to try to thin some of these lands out of our deck. Swing in for 2. Start pressuring their life a little bit. Okay, we got perfect mana from this point forward. And they get themselves a Profane Tutor into exile. Okay, Endurance. Endurance is fine. I'm going to play down my 2nd Geist. And I'm going to swing. Likely going to fetch an Overgrown Tomb here. I realize I can tap this for mana, but I kind of just want to... Well, that's annoying. Opponent plays out a Relic of Progenitus. Sure. Okay, because they have the Relic, I'm going to keep this Verdant Catacombs back now. Okay, Innkeeper. Innkeeper's fine. I imagine they're probably going to get something like a Damnation. So we're going to hold back on casting these guys. So we'll start with an attack. Put them down to 10. They Fatal Push 1. And they're going to pop the Relic. Sure. Put them down to 12. Okay, I'll play out another Verdant Catacombs, pass the turn back. Profane Tutor is going to come off the stack. I imagine they're probably getting a Cabal Coffers from here. So I'll add 4 mana when they tap it. So they basically have 5 mana available. And maybe the line changed when like when they fatal push down my Geist, maybe the move was to play out the Innkeeper at that point. Okay, I'm gonna minus, let's see what they get here. Stuff's in exile. They get another relic, sure. Seems a little weak. Like they already have the demolition field. I wonder if you just get like Pithing Needle there. We'll cast our Endurance and not shuffle anything. They have 4 cards in hand. So best draw from here is a Yawgmoth. So hopefully that's what we can draw into. That is not a Yawg. I'll attack into Karn, we'll attack into them. Play out our land. I think we're gonna pass from here. So the big thing is I'm just playing around like a damnation right now. I just want to have fodder if I draw into a Yawgmoth, just in case our board gets wiped. Like these creatures aren't really they're not gonna impact the clock significantly, nor do they impact the board really. So second Profane Tutor, sure. Opponent has 2 mana floating, plays out a second Urborg. And cast a March for 1. Sure. Okay, we're gonna fetch. That's why we were leaving our fetches back. And then they'll pop the relic. Sure. I could get Dryad Arbor, but I don't need to do that, so I'm just gonna get a Tomb tapped. Dryad Arbor doesn't change the clock because we have the Ignoble Hierarch. So I'll leave that back. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. Yawg. Grist. Okay, that's a good one. If they have another, or an Invoked Despair, that would be unfortunate, but we'll swing for 4. Play out our Grist. And we'll plus. Walrus goes to the graveyard. Profane Tutor. So that's what they'll get next turn, I would imagine, when this thing comes off suspend. So they'll make us sacrifice a creature, a planeswalker, if they don't have it already. 7 mana. Okay, another one of these things. So ward, pay life equal to its power, menace, lifelink. Okay, so we are going to be killing this thing. I wonder, do we just have lethal? We have 5 damage. Okay, we got 5 damage on the board. Evo. So Evo gets us a Yawgmoth. What is this thing's power? 7/5. Okay, so I can go Innkeeper. Oh, but this thing is, yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, so we'll add a mana here. We'll minus, sacrifice, target. We'll lose 7. Yes. I think I'll actually play out, here I'm going to play out the Innkeeper. And I'm going to move to combat. I'll swing them down to 3. Do I have a way to just win from here? I don't think so. And I think the move from here is actually, so I have to force them to get, I think they're going to be forced into a damnation here. Ooh, I can get Shieldred. That will put them down to 1. I can also get a Blood Artist. So if I get Blood Artist, but if they have a way to gain life, that kind of invalidates that. So I think I just get Yawgmoth and just refill my hand if they try to wipe our board. I suppose I probably should have sacked the insect now. Maybe. Maybe the move was Shieldred, because I can Shieldred, they lose 2, go down to 1, and then I can fetch out the Dryad Arbor and just try to kill them from there. Okay, so I have to imagine this is probably Damnation. Okay. So I have 2 cards left in hand, so we'll start by drawing some cards. Okay, that was pretty much exactly what I wanted to draw. A land. Yeah, so we'll let that happen. Another Karn, sure. Sure. So as long as they don't have a removal spell in hand, we'll have lethal. A Pithing Needle. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to respond with a fetch here. The reason I'm doing this, if they name Verdant Catacombs, it cuts us off of being able to get Dryad Arbor. So we'll yield. You have your Pithing Needle, and now we'll be able to swing in for lethal. So we'll be going to a game 3 here. Grist, sure. Play out our Heath. GG. Attack them. All right, game 3. That was a close one. For some reason, it's not letting me go to sideboarding. Not sure what happened. All right, so I'm not sure what exactly happened, if our opponent scooped or what, but it gave me the win after our second game of that match. So I guess we're 1-0. I don't know if they conceded or what happened, but very odd sequence of events. This is round 2. We are playing against Oxy Ken. We are on the draw. And once again, our opening 7, I don't think we can keep this. I'm looking down to 6. This we can keep, and I think we send back, it's either a Grist or a Yawgmoth. So if they have discard, we'd want to send back a Yawgmoth. If they don't have discard, we'd want to send back a Grist. I think it's probably safer to send back a Yawgmoth, so we'll do that. Opponent leads on an Ornithopter, so Hammertime most likely here. Okay, no Sigarda's Aid, which is good. We're going to hold on to this Besage if we can. I'm going to fetch Shock to start out with. So we will go down. And we'll play out our Yawgmoth. So moving on to their turn 2, they play out an Yawgmoth Nexus. So no Pure Steel Paladin this turn. Into a Stoneforge Mystic. So potentially looking at a Cauldra here. And I don't think our hand lines up particularly well against Cauldra. Colossus Hammer. Okay, we're okay with that. That's fine. I've seen less and less Cauldras as of recently. Okay, I would have liked to kept this Besage, but we cannot at this point. So we'll play on our Wall of Roots, and then we'll pass the turn. EOT, I'm probably going to be getting myself a Dryad Arbor to use my mana, and then we'll Evo away the wall, most likely. Springleaf Drum, sure. Is this a Paladin? Sigardazade. Okay, so we're going to be taking a hit here. So this might change things a little bit. We might be going Grist on their turn instead. So the worry here is if they have a... here's the hammer. I gotta move these revealed cards. The worry here is if they have Shadow Spear. So that would be the concern. Yes, I am going to use this Court of Calling. Might not get another chance to do so, so we're going to take that opportunity. Ramp our mana a little bit here. Nurturing Peat land. Like drawing into an extra land, not terrible. So if we kill this Ornithopter, once again, the risk here is if they have Shadow Spear. So if they have like another Stoneforge, Saga is slow, so we don't really have to worry too much about that. But I think the safest move is probably just to dump down this Ornithopter. Play out the Peatland, and then next turn get ourselves a Yawgmoth and try to wipe their board from there. Debating whether or not I want to put a counter on the Wall of Roots. I think we will, because I also think there's a chance we sacrifice this Dryad Arbor. I'll minus the Yawgmoth. I should have attacked there. That was a mistake. Should have swung for 1. Missing a point of damage. Okay, and now it doesn't make sense to attack. So I guess if they can suit up this Yawgmoth as well, we're just dead. So if they do have another hammer, that's just lethal from this point. So they don't, which is good for us. 2 mana, Reality Chip. So I'll be able to equip that. But if we can get a Yawg into play, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. There's a mana. Reality Chip can go kind of crazy though. So they got 2 mana up. Hallowed Fountain, Shock. So they reset the top of their library. Ornithopter. Yeah, this card can get messy. 1, 2. So they're out of mana for the turn. Here's a Paladin. And now they'll be able to equip the Stoneforge. Okay. So Stoneforge is an 11-12. So the question is, what's more important, mana or creatures? I think the mana is probably more important. I mean, both are kind of important. Okay, I think I'm actually going to block with the Dryad Arbor here. Opponent was doing some thinking. Now I wonder if they move the hammer. Yeah, they move it over to the Paladin. They move the chip over to the Paladin. So as long as we can kill this Paladin, we're in business. Sort of. Depending on what they have in hand. So we drew into a Birds of Paradise. So I can Evo the Wall of Roots plus the Grist. Like the line I want to take is one in which I think I just have to get rid of this Paladin, I think is what I have to do this turn. So we're going to plus, I'm going to play out this bird, play out another Grist. We'll keep the new one. Minus, sacrifice the insect, kill the Paladin. Then we'll pass the turn. Life total's getting a little low. Little sketchy. They have 2 cards in hand. If they want to attach the chip, that's going to cost them 3 mana to do so. Okay, they attach it to the Ornithopter, sure. Play out a land. Animate the Nexus, sure. So I'll just take a hit for 1. That I'm fine with. Attacking into Grist, yeah, that's fine. I think we'll preserve this Grist. I think that's probably the move. We'll go to draw. Another wolf would be ideal. Geist. We're short of mana, so if we had our bird, we could take that play. So here we start by plussing. Blood Artist to the graveyard. We'll Evo away our Wall of Roots. Get our Yawgmoth. And then from here, so minus, hit the Ornithopter. Okay, another land is good. Go down to 3. Life total is dwindling. Kill the Ornithopter. Okay, and we are down to 2. And from here, I think I attack. I don't really have many other choices here. Okay, opponent goes down to 14. Pretty interesting game here. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. So we can't kill this Stoneforge this turn. I would like to be able to kill this thing though, so if when they attach the chip, I can deal with it. So we're 1 turn away from doing that. 3 mana attached to the Stoneforge. We can play out a Saga, sure. So we're on a 3-turn clock now. Opponent taps 3 mana to Ferry. Wasn't expecting that one. They can bounce their own hammer. Instead they bounce Yawgmoth, sure. I think the move there is probably bounce your own hammer, right? Unless you have another one on top or in your hand already. So best draw for us from here is going to be an Innkeeper. Innkeeper 1 time. Ha, yes. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. All right, so we're going to plus our Innkeeper, or plus our Grist. So this is infinite now, so we just have the win from here. I believe, yes. Yes, we do. Wait, maybe we don't. Fetch, basic. We're down to 1, go up to 2. Okay, we don't. So this is annoying. Oh, we're so close. So if our opponent makes a mistake here, we'll have lethal. So I'm going to attack Teferi and attack them. I want them to, so if they block, no blocks. Okay, unfortunate. All right, we need 1 more turn here. Okay, Saga goes up to 2. As long as we don't see a Shadow Spear. Sunbaked Canyon. 1, 2. Stoneforge. Activate. Is this a Cauldron? It is a Cauldron. Oh, they're attaching it to the Stoneforge. Wow. Oh, they opted not to. Okay. Whew. Okay. So we can survive this. We're not dead yet. Unless they have a hammer to put onto it. Then we'll be super dead. Okay. Yeah, we're just dead from here. Okay. I feel like that was a hard-fought battle. Okay. Postboard. Force of Vigors. Haywire Might. And I'm good with that. And we're going to pull 2 Grist, Endurance, and a Wall of Roots. And we'll submit. Would you like to play first? Yes, I would. Opening 7. We have no business whatsoever. I guess we have a Besage. This hand ramps. Doesn't really do anything. We're going to mulligan it. Our 6 I like better. We're going to send back 1 of these Court of Callings. Okay. Opponent keeps their 7. We're going to keep this, send back a Court of Calling. Okay, we'll lead Verdant Catacombs, fetch a basic, play out our Hierarch, pass the turn. Opponent leads Seachrome Coast, taps, adds a mana, Soul Guide Lantern. Yikes. I'm okay with that. Okay, we draw into a basic swamp. We'll play out our Geist into our Hierarch. We'll swing for 4. Double triggers off those ignobles, and then we'll pass the turn back. If we naturally draw into Yawgmoth, we'll be able to cast it next turn. If we don't, we are 2 turns away from that. Because they're running a blue splash, we do need to play around counter spells as well. Potentially Spell Pierce or Mana Leak. So we'll see what they do. Okay, they play out a Saga. Springleaf Drum, sure. Nothing. Okay. Best draw from here is a Yawgmoth. Draw another land. So that's a Yawg next turn. Yeah, so we'll just play out our land. They don't have any threats down, so we can just kind of do our own thing until they do something. Swing for 4. Alright. Unsurprisingly, our opponent takes the hit. Passes the turn. Saga goes up to 2. Opponent has 6 cards in hand. Plays another Saga out. Do nothing from there. Pass the turn. Back to us. I think our opponent's having some connection issues. Okay, our opponent's back. We draw into a Yawgmoth. This is actually a really good draw. Play out a land. Play out a Yawgmoth. I'm going to pretend like I'm contemplating attack, but want to play around the Saga. And I'm not going to attack. We call that posturing there. Then we're going to pass the turn. So when they activate this Saga, assuming they do, with this on the stack, we'll get our Yawgmoth. So they won't have mana up for a counter spell of any sort. Okay, so opponent's activating their Saga. We're going to respond. Every game action they're taking is taking like a minute. I don't know if it's connection issues or what, but we're playing very slowly. All right, so we got our Yawg here. They cannot counter this. They don't have the mana. Okay, and now we let this construct come into play. And from here, we're going to start doing our thing. So they'll sacrifice the Soul Guide, which is fine. We'll still draw a card. Okay, and now we're going to draw some more. So we have our Geist, kill the construct. I'm going to draw at least one or two more here. I'm looking for a Force of Vigor. Like, our mana is pretty good at this point. Okay, we drew into another Yawgmoth. I think I'm going to keep going here. I think we'll draw one more. Okay, so that gets us a Haywire Might. So that's kind of like where I want to be. So if they spend their turn getting something like a Pithing Needle, we'll have the answer to that. And now they don't have any threats on board. Okay, so that's what we anticipated. More Sagas. Sagas galore. They make a Construct, sure. And a Paladin, sure. Okay, we can deal with all this. This is not a problem. And if we just draw into like an Innkeeper from here, we'll just win the game. We're a Blood Artist. Another Geist. Okay, so we'll start. We'll cast out our Wall of Roots. Cast out our Geist. I just have to make sure I leave a mana up for the Haywire Might. So we'll fetch. I get a basic here. Play out the Wolf. 4 mana. Done. Haywire Might. Exile the Needle. And now we're going to go crazy. And they scoop. Okay, game 3. Game 3, I think I might bring in a piece of removal. I think I'm going to bring in a Fatal Push. And we'll shave probably our Endurance. Or do I want to keep the Endurance and get rid of like a Yawgmoth or a Geist? Maybe I'll shave down a Geist. And we'll go with that. Alright, we like this 7. We finally keep an opening 7. We'll keep. So we have turn 1 bird, turn 2, we can cast at least 2 creatures, depending on what they do. Okay, drawing another land was good. We're going to play out our Tomb. We'll shock. Bird. I'm going to keep this Besage You back. So next turn I can go Innkeeper into Might and leave up the Might activation. They have a Hearse. That's unusual. That's like, in my mind, that's like really weak in their deck because they don't have any, like, all the removal exiles. So like they're not going to be able to, it just doesn't make sense to me why they would play that card. It feels bad. So I'm going to go Innkeeper into Might this turn, and the next turn I'll go Geist and get a Yawg. And we'll be able to deal with this Hearse. And I wonder if I just dump down this Saga now with the Might. I don't think I need to. So I'll gain a life here. We could also exile the Saga. We could also exile the Sigarda's Aid. Like depending on what we want to do here. Best draw from here is just naturally drawing into a Yawgmoth. Opponent has 4 cards in hand. Could also just get rid of this Innkeeper. Like drawing into a Yawgmoth would be solid as well. I think what I might actually do is Evo away the Innkeeper and then leave up Besage You and the Might. I think that's what I might do here. So let's do that. So we'll take this line. Okay, so this is going to be a 2/2. So I can just kill this now if I want to. I can get a Dried Arbor. I guess my question is that worth it? Is it worth it? Like exile this Saga, kill the Construct, and then next turn I'll have 3 mana to work with, which I can play my Geist and have Besage You up. I think I am going to take that line. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm playing around Blacksmith skill. I think that's the biggest concern from here. Like if I let them untap, I could get punished. Now if they have an answer to my Yawg, that would be really bad. Actually, okay, so I think I can afford to let them untap with just the Construct. So I think we're going to let this happen here. They're going to E2. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. They have 4 cards in hand. No, I think we're gonna get rid of it. I'm torn. I think I might have made a mistake there. Okay, that's a good draw. That's a really good draw. Turn off all yields. The reason why Wall of Roots is such a good draw is because it lets me go Wall of Roots into Geist, and then I can also have the Seiju up on their turn. Springleaf Drum, sure. They have 3 cards in hand. Notice they shock in the Hollowed Fountain, so to me that suggests that if they don't have a play, they definitely have some form of interaction. License Hearse, very unusual. Stoneforge, sure. It's interesting they didn't eat the Might out of the graveyard. And they get themselves a Colossus Hammer, sure. They're going to activate and equip right now, sure. That's fine. That's fine. So once again, the cards we care about are Blacksmith Skill and Shadow Spear. Those are the 2 cards we care about. So I can go Wall of Roots and Beseiju the Hammer now, which plays around Blacksmith Skill. Or I can go Wall of Roots into Geist and then have Beseiju up on their turn. And if we draw into something like a Force of Vigor, that just completely changes the equation. At the pace my opponent's playing, they might even time out. Okay, we draw another Wall of Roots. So I wonder, can we go Wall of Roots into Geist? So we're definitely playing out the P land. I don't think we can do all of that. So Wall of Roots. So I can go Wall of Roots into Wall of Roots, get rid of the Hammer. So I can go Wall of Roots, add a mana, -2 the Stoneforge, and kill the Hammer, so they won't have a threat on board. I think that seems reasonable. I draw into a Grist, that's not bad. Just want like a Force of Vigor from here. We'll get rid of the Hammer. Okay, and we're just going to pass the turn from here. I could attack there, but the thing I'm playing around is them attacking it with the Hearse potentially and killing me. Another Drum. I think they're running light on threats here. They got nothing. Okay. 1 or a 2 drop? Well, 1 drop would be best. I think they have a counter spell in hand, so I think if I play out this Grist, it's likely getting countered. Okay, so that's a good draw. So from here, I'm going to start by playing out this Ignoble. And then we'll play out our Geist, and then we will start attacking. I think we're okay to attack for 4 here. Just to make sure I don't F6 through the turn here. Play out our Marsh. I guess in this case, I probably should have just attacked with the Geist. The card that can get us here, I don't think they run it when they're running a blue splash, but the castle that deals 4 damage target attacking or blocking creature could have gotten punished there if they had that. So maybe I just attack him with the Geist there. Like the extra point of damage, not that big a deal. So I got a Stoneforge, sure. See if they get a Cauldron. So it was definitely their draw step for the turn. And they're not representing Counterspell anymore. They would have countered one of these 2 cards, I think. They got a Hammer, sure. A Paladin, sure. So they can suit up this Hearse, and they do not. 2 cards in hand. We know one of them's a Hammer. We drew into another Yawgmoth. Not really what we're looking for. Okay, and they respond to Grist with a Hammer. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to add 2 black mana. I think this is a mistake from our opponent here. We're going to hit this Hammer, or hit the Paladin. We drew another Beseiju, that's pretty good. We're going to hit the Stoneforge. So I imagine they eat this with the Hearse. Sure. Okay, we got a Chord of Calling, that's pretty good. Now I am going to Proliferate. Done. And now they have a Hammer in play. No targets. Okay, plus our Grist. And we'll swing in for 2. So next turn we pretty much have the win locked up next turn. So we'll be able to Beseiju down this Hearse if we want to. We can just leave the Beseiju. We really don't care what it goes on. So they have a 2-drop here. Okay. So that's pretty good. I think you just equip it to the Paladin right now, but we can shoot it down. Sure. Play it all out. Okay, so they're hellbent. So this gives us the green light to go crazy. All right, so Hapatra is going to enter the fold. I think that's the move. We'll start with a plus. I think they're supposed to hold that Sea-Chrome as well. Oh, was I supposed to? Oh, no, I have the Beseiju. Okay, we're fine. 5, done. Get ourselves Hapatra. Okay, and that's just lethal, I believe. So my plan here was to -2 it and then Beseiju down the Hammer. But now that I drew the Court of Calling. I don't need to do that. All right, so this is Blood Artist, and now they're dead. They are dead. So they can hearse my... I really don't care. Doesn't matter. Sure. Be my guest. Like the fact that the Paladin has more power is actually a liability in this instance because it means more activations. I haven't seen a single Force of Vigor yet. More than halfway through our deck at this point. There it is. And our opponent scoops. All right, 2-1 or 2-0. All right, we are back match 3 Modern League. We are currently 2-0 playing against Darko_MTG. Opening 7, I think you guys know what we're doing. 6-card hand. This is an acceptable 6, and I think probably get rid of the Evo here. I think. Yeah, I think we're getting rid of the Evo. We'll go with this. Opponent's on the play. Darko leads with an Inspiring Vantage into a Rift Bolt. So this hand's actually kind of nice against what they're doing. We also do have double Innkeeper in the deck, which is nice. I'm going to lead on Blooming Marsh. I'm going to keep the Besage in case they have an Idol on. And we'll play out our Hierarch. If they want to point a burn spell at that, we're fine with that. If not, our next turn will Besage you down an Eidolon, which I'm anticipating. Okay, they do bolt down they bolt the bird, which we're fine. That's okay. Let's see if they have an Eidolon here. Goblin God, okay. I wasn't anticipating that based on the way they sequenced their turn 1. Okay, we got a Dryad Arbor out of the deal. Nice. Putting his 4 cards in hand. Nice. Okay, we're doing good here. I will take a point of damage. I'm going to fetch. And we are going to get a Swamp because I do have the Yawgmoth. And we'll go Wall of Roots into Yawgmoth. I would say we would chord for our Arbor here, but we're not going to have the ability to do that because it's in our hand. But we got it for free, so we're okay with that. It was a freebie. Okay, another Rift Bolt suspended. Opponent wants to attack, by all means. They don't. There's really no reason not to, I don't think. Okay, and that's actually really good. So I'm going to play out the Beseju. We have the win next turn. There's our Yawg. And if they want to like double bolt this down, we're fine with that. Like that's the equivalent of quite a significant amount of life, so if that's how they want to play it, by all means. Foundry untapped. Interesting. So we're getting Boros Charmed. Or Helixed, maybe? Charmed. We're down to 13. This is all fine. Like I said, we have lethal next turn, so unless they can deal us an additional 10 damage here, which I don't think they can, I don't think it's actually possible. Like they could have 3 1-mana, 3 damage burn spells in their hand with their 3 cards, but they don't, I don't think they do. No attack. Okay, we're going to use our cord here. We'll get another Yawgmoth, and we drew into a bird. So play out our bird, play out our Dryad Arbor, and I'm going to pass the turn. I'm going to wait for them to make a move, and then I'll go from there. I might even do something during their upkeep. Yeah, I think we'll make a move upkeep here. We're going to get a Blood Artist. I suppose I should have left double black up just because it could be a proliferate line. Okay, they Skull Crack me down to 6. So we're going to respond to this and gain a bunch of life. Okay, drew another Yawg. Which one did we target with the first one? That one. This might even just be lethal for them. Yeah, there's no reason for me not to do this here. Okay, so we'll go up to 10 life, then we'll go down to 7 off the Skull Crack. So they're at 5 now. 4, 3, 2. Okay, we're up a game. Pretty good. Okay, post board. We're gonna bring in Scavenging Ooze, a Shieldred, a Haywire Might, and I think a Fatal Push, maybe? Maybe. I don't hate Endurance in this matchup either, just because I don't think Grist... Yeah, Grist might actually be fine because we have double Innkeeper. Kind of just want to like curve out and have blockers. 1, 2, 4. I think I'll shave 1 Grist. Fatal Push. I kind of like all this stuff. I don't love Cord. And I don't love 4 Yawgmoth. So I think we'll go with this. It's been a while since we've seen Burn. Welcome back, Burn. This hand's a little sketchy. Opponent mulligans to 6. Like we have lands, we have blockers. All of our lands deal us damage, so I think we can do better than this. I'm gonna mulligan. Alright, we're getting punished here. Opponent mulligans to 5, we're gonna join them. Alright, and this is semi-acceptable. We'll keep this. It's not really acceptable, but we'll keep it. We're gonna get rid of Endurance and Tapatra, I think. Just because if we get a second land, we'll be able to get our Grist out because of the treasure token. And then that's a pretty big game. But it has 4 cards left. I think this is going to be a slow developing game here. Yawgmoth. Pass turn. No 1-drop, nothing. Let's see if they have an Eidolon. Seems they're hesitating. Rift Bolt. I'm guessing they just drew that. Lava Spike, sure. Land. Not a land. We got 3 Grists in hand. Not what we wanted. I'll attack for 1. Okay, we're going down to 14. Rift Bolt. They have 3 cards in hand. Rolling Vortex, they're down to 16. We're going down to 13. There's our land. Not the one we wanted, but it does something. Innkeeper. Got a little bit of a clock, though. Kind of. They only have 2 cards in hand. This is just a race. We're down to 11. Ignoble. Okay, I think we start with an attack here. Put them down to 10. Play out our Grist. We will gain a life, so they're going to Vortex in response here. Skullcrack, we're down to 7. Pass turn. So we'll go down to 6. So if they have double 1 mana burn spell, we'll just be dead. We're down to 6. Like to plus. May I gain a life? Path the Innkeeper. Okay. Get a Forest. Play out a Hierarch. Doesn't really do anything, but we'll play it. So we have lethal next turn. Question is, does our opponent have lethal this turn? Searing Blaze puts me down to 3. Do they have a Bolt? Okay, they got me. Game 3. Kind of a weird game, right? Strange one. I think we're going to keep this configuration. Okay, we got a 7 we can keep. Lead on a Hierarch. Our opponent showed us game 1 that they are liable to bolt that, so if that's the move they want to take, it's plus 3 life. I'm okay with that. Rift Bolt, sure. Alright, that was actually a pretty good draw. Put them down to 17, we'll pass the turn. If they do have something like a Goblin Guide, we'll get punished for this line, but if not, I think it's okay. We're down to 17. Searing Blaze, okay. So best draw from here is a land. Okay, we got it. Get our Ooze into play. Gain a life. And now the Ooze is kind of it's a must kill for them. Or maybe it's not. There's no creatures in the graveyard as it stands. We can get our Endurance in at any time. Going down to 12. They have 4 cards in hand. So Grist can start dumping creatures into our graveyard. So the question is, what's a faster clock? Grist or Endurance? So we swing for 5, put them down to 9. 5 down to 9. 6 down to 3, down to 2. I feel like the Grist might be the slower line here. I'm not sure. 5, 8. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna flash in this Endurance. If they can't kill me, like they're dealing themselves so much damage off their lands. And if we need to, we have a line where we can flash Endurance into play and gain a point of life. Whether or not that matters, I don't know, but we'll see. We have 2 cards in hand. Alright, so this is lethal. Path. So they go down to 6. Okay. Yes. Get a Swamp. Put them down to 1. So now they can't fetch, and they can't activate these other lands. So I think they're in a kind of a tough spot here. I don't know that they're going to be able to beat us from this position. Innkeeper to the graveyard. Yeah, the whole 1 life thing here is tricky for them. And they're dead. They're dead. 3-0. Back at it. We are playing against Toyoshi1102. They are on the play. They mulligan to 6. We're going to keep our opening 7. I don't love hands like this just because we don't have a turn 1 play, but I think that the upside of this hand is too high. The combo potential is so high. So I think we keep it. They lead on Basic Island. To me, this is suggesting they might be on Murktide. We have a Catacombs. Pass the turn. I'm going to get some basics down, just in case they have a Blood Moon. Okay, that's not what I was expecting. Makes this fetch land much worse. Crap, people. I'll yield into the Yet Step. I am going to fetch here. Like, they can Field of Ruin and hit my land anyway, so if they have a trap, which they do. How many Endurances? 1 Endurance. And they Surgical the Endurance. Okay. Hard mode activated. They have 2 cards left in hand. Draw step, they were thinking about something. Drawing into a Grist is actually pretty good. We're just going to play that out, yield through the turn. We can't do anything with that right now, so... like, they need land drop into... And they need, like, fetch land into, like, Tasha's. I think that's how they beat us here. So there's the fetch land. Blood Artist into the graveyard, so we're not combo killing this game. So Grist is our line here. 13 creatures in the graveyard. Field of Ruin, sure. We still have another basic. So we have 23 cards. They have 2 cards in hand. They surgical targeting. What do they target? Evo. That's a weird target. I feel like you target Grist if there's one in there. Oh, there's no Grist in the graveyard. Okay. We're gonna Grist. We'll uptick. And we'll yield. Opponent has 1 card left. So they have 2 turns to kill us, basically. Okay, we're down to 14 cards. They have a trap, they get us. Geist, plus, it's going to be a close one. 12 cards left. It's going to come down to the top of their deck. Swing. I didn't play out my land, there's really no point to doing so. Doesn't matter. Like, this game is coming down to Grist. And we got there. Up 1. Close game. Very close game. Alright, post sideboard. More endurances. I don't know that I hate Silex in this matchup. Shieldred's is kind of like another threat. I like Thoughtseizes in this matchup as well. Silex might be too slow though. Maybe I just bring in like a removal spell or 2. I don't know if like trading 1 for 1 is where I want to be though. And maybe I bring in the Might as well. I feel like push is probably fine. Boarding out, we're going to board out some Wall of Roots, as those don't do anything. On the draw, typically I'll board up to 65 cards in this matchup, or 66 on the draw. So I think we're going to go with this, and then on the play I'll probably bring in the Silex, pull the push, and pull another Wall of Roots. We'll go down to 65. This hand's kind of weak. We're going to mulligan. You're okay mulliganing in this matchup because like the less cards you have, the more they have to mull. I will keep this, and we're going to get rid of Blood Artist. We don't have a green card for Endurance though, which is a little unfortunate. Watery Grave, Crab People, sure. So we'll lead on our turn 1 Thoughtseize. Okay. Extra land's not terrible. Okay, we're going to get rid of the second crab here. Let's shut off their engine a little bit. So their hand is pretty bad. I imagine they probably cycle this Visions. Field of Ruin, sure. There's an Endurance, so if they have a whatchamacallit, they'll get it with it. Wow. Wow, they drew into the surgical. Brutal. Brutal. Alright, now both of our hands are pretty bad. That was a good draw. That was a very good draw. Alright, well, we know what they have now though, so we can fetch without consequence, so I'm going to do that right here and now. And we'll get ourselves a Tomb tapped, and we'll play out this Haywire Might. Pretty crazy sequence there. Alright, so they dump. Dryad Arbor's gone. They'll Field of Ruin, get rid of our lands. We're fine with them hitting the peatland there. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to get basic Swamp, and the reason being is because it's likely, I think that they're going to take out our Twilight Mirror. They have another Field of Ruin in hand as well, so I think we're going to need to have access to double black. Like, we might be pressured. Alright, so we need to dodge another surgical here. They know we have the Yawg in hand, so that's kind of our move next turn. If they do have Drown in the lock, they'll be able to hit it as well. We'll see what they do here. We have 14 cards in the graveyard. Alright, so they're going to be able to Visions and draw 3 this turn, unfortunately. Yep. Get a Forest. 21 cards, Visions, draw 3. Pretty good. One of those 5 cards in hand. They refueled pretty hard there. Blood Artist, not great. And now they have another surgical for our Yawg. Yeah, they drew. Top of their deck was pretty kind to them. Pretty brutal. I don't think we're winning this game. I don't think there's a very good chance that we do that. Yeah, all we got is this Blood Artist, and I think I'm going to hold this Twilight Mirror for now. I'm not going to give them another target for their Field of Ruin. We don't need to. Another Crab. Move this. Play a land tapped. 6 more cards. And if they mill over the rest of our Grists or exile them, I'm just going to scoop from here. That's kind of the only way we win from this point forward. And I think there's probably a good chance they have a Drown in the lock as well. They have two unknowns right now. Innkeeper, sure. Doesn't really do anything. Pretty brutal sequence. They draw another 3. We're super dead. Super duper dead. Another crab. Okay, I'm just gonna scoop it up. I don't want them to see more cards out of my library. They've seen most of it, but I'm gonna bring in the Silex this game. I'm gonna shave another Wall of Roots. I'm gonna shave, I think, a Yawgmoth. Like, we didn't see any artifacts or enchantments. I think I'll shave down maybe a Chord of Calling as well. I want 65, I don't want 66. Maybe we don't do the Silex, maybe we just do like a Go for the Throat. Okay, we'll go with this. Okay, I can run with this. They mulligan to 6. We don't have an Endurance, but this hand is pretty quick. And we can potentially Chord for an Endurance on turn 3. Lean on our Hierarch, pass the turn. And if the Hierarch survives, we can just like power through with our Geist. If they have a crab, a 3 toughness crab, which they do. Fatal Push, another Geist. Many Geists. So if we draw another land, we can put a pretty quick clock on them. Another crab, okay, they're gonna put a pretty quick clock on us. So it's gonna be 12 cards. Not as quick of a clock as I would have liked. Another Yawg, not great. So we'll swing for 3. Put them down to 12. The fact we didn't pull a land there was pretty bad. Like, drawing another Yawgmoth is not what we want. Really wanted a land so I could double spell, double Geist, and then Chord for an Endurance. I think that's probably getting exiled though. Fatal Push is in the graveyard, Sheoldred's in the graveyard. Alright, they exile our Endurances here. No Yawgmoths in the graveyard, which is good, so they can't exile those. We're actually pretty close to just a combo kill. They have 3 cards in hand. Okay, Yawgmoth into the graveyard, so we'll see if they have a Surgical. Really want to pull a land here. They're representing Drown in the lock. Let me turn to a bird. Okay, so they do have a Surgical here. They Surgical our Yawg. I don't lose to this matchup very often. I'm hoping they left one in the graveyard. It doesn't matter though. I mean, I guess what matters, Echoing Truth are Geists. That's annoying. So that buys them a turn, but not that big a deal. 1, 2, 3, Tasha's. That's going to be a big hit. Okay, we have 16 cards left. We have 1 card left in hand. Wow. How do we win this game? Sheoldred's gone, Endurances are gone. Yawgmoth is gone. Like, if we just Geist put them down to 6, we need 2 more turns of attacks to win this game. I think we start with an attack. I don't want to search my library. I'm a little fearful they have a trap in hand. Another crab, okay. Spellbomb, sure. Okay, they're hellbent. So Blood Artist. So what does this do? So I can go Blood Artist, Chord for a Grist, kill one of the crabs. I think that's the line. And then if they draw into a... So if they draw into a trap, I lose from here. Let me see, is that the line? Or do I just have lethal? Do I just have lethal? So swing for 6, they take 2, they take 3, go down to 3. Yeah, I don't think it changes anything if I Chord here. I guess if they have a fetch land, I do lose. Fetch land kills me, so maybe we do have to get Grist. So many Grists left in the deck. We'll sacrifice a bird. Kill a crab. Alright, so we have lethal next turn. We just need to dodge. We have 13 cards. So if they have a fetch land, we'll still survive. Okay, they're going to draw a card. It's going to be very close. I think there's a good chance we'll lose, but we'll see. So if they draw like fetch land plus a mill spell, we'll lose. Alright, yield through turn. I'm at your mercy. 3rd crab. Fetch land. Okay, they got us. Alright, that's annoying. Yep, concede. That sucks. That sucks. That game 2 was brutal. 3-1. All right. As per normal, we are currently 3-1 in our Modern League. We are playing against Hulk Carrot. Our opening 7, I think this is too slow. So we're going to mulligan this. We're on the draw. This one we can keep. And I think we'll send back... So a little tricky. We can send back a land, but if we don't draw another land, we're in trouble. Or we can send back the Endurance. I think I'm going to hope the top of my deck is kind to me and send back a land. Opponent leads on Bloodstained Mire, passes the turn. Okay, we drew into a bird. I'll play that out. I think there's a good chance it gets bolted based on what our opponent did, but if not, I like it. This feels like creativity. Okay, Jetmir's Garden. So this is going to be a Wrenn and 6, I'm guessing. Yep. So we need to draw Geist off the top. Geist one time. Opponent has 51 cards. Innkeeper. Innkeeper not great when you're looking at a Wrenn and 6. We'll play out a Hepatra. Most mana efficient play we have access to, so we'll do that. So there's always the option in this sort of an instance to evoke an Endurance to cut them off of their land here, but I don't think that that's worth it. If we draw another land, we'll do that. We'll cut them off of another land drop. Is this thing a mountain? It is a mountain. Okay, there's a Fable. So that's annoying. Okay, we got our third land, which is good. So from here, what I can do is I can attack with the Hepatra, trade if they want to. If they do, it's a little tricky, a little tricky. I think we'll just play our land and pass. I think we're going to keep this Hepatra back for just a turn. We'll flash in the Endurance, take their land, and then we'll block the Goblin if we're given the opportunity. See if they discard an Archon. If they want to reanimate an Archon, or try to at least, I'm fine with that. Discard a Spell Pierce. Interesting. So we're kind of representing like Court of Calling right now. I mean, we are representing Endurance as well, but interesting. They're leading with combat. Or shuffle their graveyard. Hopefully they don't have another fetch land. I'm guessing they do though. I'll block this thing. Dwarven Mine, sure. This is a creativity for 1. It is. Okay. So we need to draw a land here. I think we sacrifice the Endurance, discard the Innkeeper. Plus, they don't have another land. Okay, land drop. Okay, we got there. So the line we have access to now is we can Forest, Yawgmoth. If they have another Spell Pierce, they'll cut us off of this, which I think there's a good chance they do. Yeah, they do. Okay, we'll scoop this one. We're not winning. Okay, game 2. So this is 5 colors, so we're going to bring in our Force of Vigors. We'll bring in our Silex, and we'll go like that, 6 cards. And we're going to shave, we're cutting both the Innkeepers. Those are not good in this matchup. Young Wolves are terrible. Force of Vigors. Endurance is medium, Evo is medium. I don't love birds. We'll shave 1 bird. Maybe a cord. We'll go like that. Ooh, so many mulligans, so many. So many. On the play, I think we have to mulligan this. I don't think we can keep a 1-lander. This hand's a little weak, but I think we're going to keep it. I think we have to. And we'll send back the Overgrown Tomb, I think. So here, the hope is that we can go Hierarch, have it survive, and then turn to the Wrenn and 6. Wrenn and 6 down our Hierarch. We'll flash in Endurance, and then we'll swing into the Wrenn and 6. We'll see if we're given that opportunity. Does that change anything? Well, I think it means that we just have to wait here. They're going to get a Tri-land. Nothing, huh? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'll play out my Endurance now. That's fine. We'll cast, and we're going to shuffle their graveyard. Okay, Force of Vigor, not terrible. So from here, I can go Wall of Roots, Evo the Endurance, get a Yawg, and then have a Force of Vigor on the next turn. So we'll start with an attack. Hit for 4. I suppose if they have a Spell Pierce, it does cut me off of this line though. So maybe I wait a turn. Play out the Wall of Roots. Yeah, I'll wait a turn for this one. Mountain, Forest, Plains, Leyline Binding. Sure. Let's see what they take. They take the Endurance. We're okay with that. Alright, so they're going to tap out here. And this is going to be either a Teferi or a Fable. Fable. So this is pretty good for us, because that equals 2 targets for our Force of Vigor, as long as we draw a green card. Okay, we just naturally drew a Yawgmoth, which is really good. So we have 2 mana to pay for a Spell Pierce. We can also draw a card with this Peat land here. I'm going to let them loot here. Let's see what they do. Like, the reason being is because I can Force a Vigor and I can dump down this Binding in response if they have like a Persist. This is also available to me. So we're going to let them do that. They have 4 cards in hand. We can deal with the Spell Pierce. We can't deal with a Mana Leak. We cannot deal with double Spell Pierce though, so we're going to do this now. And do I want to shuffle their stuff? I don't. I think we're just going to leave everything as is, and then I'll block. I'm going to block with my endurance here. Okay, they have a dwarf, sure. They have 3 cards in hand. Transmogrify. No, no, you cannot. We'll sacrifice our endurance. We don't really care about the endurance here. We drew into another Evo. That's pretty good. I could sacrifice the peat land here. I don't need to do that. Okay, and that represents just, it's pretty much lethal. Yawgmoth. Evo the Yawgmoth. I wonder if my opponent just concedes from here. I think we're going to get a, we'll just get a Geist. Oh, cancel. We'll draw a few cards. We're looking for a Court of Calling here. Like their guard is down at this point, so we can kind of go a little crazy. Bunch of Geists. Okay, there's the Court. So I'll play out the peat land. Add green, another Geist, Blood Artist, and we're going to game 3. And they scoop. Okay. Game 3, let's do it. So game 3, I don't think I really changed too much. Do I want like another Yawgmoth maybe? Like they've shown us the spell pierces, we know about those. I think we just keep it as is. Okay, I'm okay with this opening 7. We'll keep. Like we're very soft to a Wrenn and 6, but I don't think we can send this back. Okay, that's actually a really good draw. So if they do have Wrenn and 6 here, we'll be able to swing it down. That was like best case scenario. See if they fetch their tap land. Okay, so Wrenn and 6 is coming down here. You have to imagine they have a lightning bolt. Basic mountain, ew. Okay. Later Geist, and then later Wrenn and 6. Okay, so this is okay. This is okay. All is working according to plan. It's actually not terrible either. Attack Wrenn and 6. Now if they have another Wrenn and 6, that will be a little problematic, but if not, we'll be in decent shape. And next turn we can go Wall of Roots into Blood Artist, and then the following turn we can get our Yawg into play. So we do need to keep this Geist back though. We will shock that in. Yes. Wall of Roots, Blood Artist. So we get Yawg down next turn, depending on what they do. They don't have a white source yet, of note. Discard a Dwarven Mine and a Lightning Bolt. So they can Creativity this turn, which is not necessarily the end of the world, but they'll only be able to do it for 1. So if they attack with a Goblin, we're going to block with the Geist. If they try to kill the Geist, they'll take them off a mana to be able to Creativity. So and then if they only Creativity for 1, we'll have a Yawg in play next turn, and we'll be able to, you know, kind of work our way from there. So not a terrible situation. We also have mana up for Spell Pierce as long as they don't kill this Wall of Roots. So I don't think we're in a terrible situation right now. Okay, Dwarven Mine, sure. No attack, okay. So this is good. So if they have double Spell Pierce, we'll be in a little bit of trouble, but if not, we'll be okay. Let me get a basic. And I'm actually gonna save, this Wall of Roots just because I don't want it to get bolted. 3 mana in response. Is this a mystical dispute? That would be unfortunate. Okay, Prismari Command, sure. Okay, we're gonna get our Yawgmoth into play. We've played a land already. I'll play out our Hierarch, and I'm gonna dump down so they can do a Creativity for potentially 3. 1, 2. Okay, I'm gonna dump down one of these dwarves right now. Oh, I messed up. I shouldn't have tapped the Twilight Mirror. Okay, so that was a mistake. Yeah, I could have proliferated, and yeah, that was a mistake. So the line I had access to is I could have No. I mean, proliferate would have been useful though. So if I draw into another 1-drop, that's really good. If I don't, that's not good. They have 3 cards in hand. What's the play? Like, I want to draw into a 1-drop, but I don't know if it's worth the risk. Dump down 2. I think we have to try for it. If they have something like a Veil of Summer, that will be pretty bad for us. 1 mana. Are they short for... Oh, they need an extra mana to be able to cast. They have a Binding in hand, but they can't cast it. Okay, we got really lucky there. Yeah, they can't Binding right now. Binding is 3 mana for them right now, as it stands. Okay, so I think we're okay. We can pass from here. So if they want a Binding, it's going to take up their turn. Like, they can't Binding 3 cards in hand. Okay, we're gonna dump down some stuff here. Okay, so I'm gonna dump down the Shaman, and the hope is that I draw into a Force of Vigor, because then I can Force of Vigor the Reflection and the Binding. Oh, so we'll start here. Force of Vigor. Okay, we drew into a bird. That is really bad. Okay, I think I just have to let this happen from here. Okay, we drew into Grist. Grist isn't terrible, but we do have to get rid of this Reflection. So the thing is they have like a Lightning Bolt here. Kind of get punished. Grist. If they have a Veil of Summer, we'll get super punished. Okay, so they timed that incorrectly. So we don't have to actually sacrifice anything now. So they should have waited. But now if they have a Creativity, we're probably just dead. If they have like Fetch Land Creativity, we'll see. This is a Fire Ice. Okay, that's a little strange that they didn't fire. I think they're looking for a Creativity or a Fetch Land. They got their Fetch Land. Yep. So now the Creativity for 1. All right, this is gonna be game. I don't think we're coming back from this one. We'll sacrifice the bird. Discard the swamp. Sure. Sacrifice the Wall of Roots. And then they'll attack into the Grist. It's a pretty good turn. Or they're attacking into me. Oh, yeah, I just sacrificed the Grist, sure. They have 4 cards in hand. Pretty good. Yeah, and now I'm pretty much dead. Like, we'll probably just lose to this Reflection just beating me down. Oh, nice of you to join us. I don't think we really have an out from here, but we'll give it a go. Good old college try. Imagine this gets spell pierced. Okay. Like, what's my out from here? How can I kill this Archon? I don't think I can. If they just have a Lightning Bolt, we just die. Geist. Okay. Scoop. Unfortunate end to our league here. 3-2. So a little bit of heartbreak at the end of that league. We started off really strong, a 3-0 record, and then we lost the last 2. I don't feel great about that loss to Mill. I feel like we're definitely favored in that matchup, and I don't know. I think our opponent drew really, really strong off the top of their deck in games 2 and 3. So, you know, you're going to lose some matches like that, and it just so happened that, you know, we lost that one. But against Creativity, I mean, they kind of just did their thing. We knew that that was a possibility. At the end with the Creativity, we would just lose if they had that. So we had outs, but we didn't draw to them, and we lost. So, you know, I think things panned out pretty reasonably given the circumstances. The 60 card list, I think I probably like the 3 bird, 1 innkeeper orientation better than the 2-2 split. So I think if I were to play in an event, I would be running, as I said, kind of that normal main deck that I usually run. I don't think I would go up on lands. Let me say that again. I don't think I would go up on lands. I think I'd probably stay with the 21 lands, 3 bird, 4 hierarch, 1 innkeeper. That's felt good to me. I don't feel a need to necessarily change that. And I did feel like there were fewer instances of us having 1-drops in this league. We had a lot of mulligans, but yeah, our 1-drops, I felt like we were lacking a little bit. Yeah, so that's kind of the gist of it. With regards to the sideboard, I like this sideboard. I'm eager to test Pylon once it comes out. But outside of that, I think our sideboard's solid. I don't think much really needs to be changed about it either. So 3-2 league, solid. You know, we're in the green. We had 2 matches that were really close that we lost. Probably could have gone either way. We were 1 turn away with regards to that Mill matchup. So if they didn't pull what they needed that game 3, we would have won it. So it is what it is. I'm checking out. You know the deal. Everybody, be well. I'll see you next time.